Republicans? Are Republicans not sending the right message? And listen, I'm apolitical. I look at issues, not individuals. So I'm just curious what you guys think. From that part of the interview, what did you take away? Do they have good numbers? Are they playing games? What did you think about those messages? Just raise your hand and we'll bring you a microphone. I'm right here. In fact, why don't you stand up so I can find you a little easier and just say your name and comment or question.
My name's Duff, and Dr. Phil, I wonder, in the polling, who are we polling? We've got half this nation that's probably paying no attention whatsoever to the trials and tribulations that are going on for this high office in the country. Mm-hmm. And I also wonder if, in fact, Mr. Trump doesn't win. You did good with him in the interview about this, and that's bringing him to a higher plateau. What about the other side? And then there again, half this country doesn't know the meaning of political weaponizing. Mm-hmm. We have a serious issue. How can we solve that?
So you think half of the country's not paying attention to what's going on in terms of the business of running the country?
Yes, I do.
How many of you agree with that? Really? You think that many people don't pay attention? Now, we have done man on the street interviews and asked a lot of people, when was the War of 1812? And they have no idea. I'm serious. They have no idea who was in the Spanish-American War.
The Spanish
you ask
and the
them
Americans.
questions and they're like, they have no idea. And I don't know what they're paying attention to, because they are awake and they're vertical and they're walking up and down the street, but they don't, if they're not paying attention to obvious sort of things, obvious issues, what are they paying attention to? People that aren't tuned in, aren't dialed in, what are they paying attention to?
The Bulls. And
Do you have a view on that? Hang on, we gotta bring you a
Sports.
microphone. You gotta stand up. Stand up and speak up.
Vanity. I think they're paying attention to like buzzwords and things that they can latch onto that are more closely associated to them. Like when they hear immigrations or people coming into the country or taxes. Like that's why he kept like focusing on those buzzwords. I think that the normal person is only focused on those buzzwords. So I would agree that not that many people know what's going on because they're only concerned with the things that are closest to them.
Do we need to wake the rest of the people up?
Absolutely.
Is that, because I feel that way. I think we need to wake the rest of the people up. Yes, sir, right here. Sir.
I think
Say your name.
Oh, Bill Camp.
Okay, Bill. Just your first name.
Longtime trial lawyer. You've been in trial services forever. You know, people just have a shorter focus span. And when you get into the different demographics, you've got, younger people, Gen Zs, that are only looking at their phone. They're only looking at that TikTok, or they're only looking at, whatever their recent podcast is. And I think a lot of people, you're seeing that aren't following the legend news. They're following some individual podcast that's only their point of view. I think that's a problem.
Well, the statistics are very disturbing about the high percentage of young people who get 100% of their news from TikTok. And it's not being fact checked. I'll tell you what, we put up promos on the social media platforms about the interview for people to watch. And we submitted a promo to TikTok. And they said, well, we need to review this to see if it's consistent with community standards. And it was just the promo here. I mean, it wasn't saying let's go stomp baby kittens to death or anything. And usually, now I don't do a lot of this myself, it gets put up, but usually the review is like 10 seconds because they run through like an algorithm or something and make sure it doesn't have something in it should be there. And an hour later, which is usually like 2 seconds or 10 seconds, an hour later, the message came back rejected. They would not put it up. and which is really disturbing to me because it was just a news promo. It was just a news promo,
It's about Trump, though.
and it's not like
Can't talk about Trump.
I'm a known conspiracy wacko or something, and I've got 7 or 8 million followers there, so it's not like I'm an unknown person to them. But they wouldn't put it up because it had Trump in it. They didn't even know if it was pro or con.
Can't talk
They
about
just
Trump.
it had Trump in it. They wouldn't put it up. That's concerning to me. But we put it on there because we wanted to get young people, hey, watch this and find out who this really is. Maybe you'll hate them. And so at least you'll know it'll be based on fact. So, but yes, ma'am, stand up. We'll get your microphone.
Hi, I'm Karen. I was just thinking about when they ran the first time together, or the second time, and President Biden won. I have a lot of Republican friends and a lot of Democratic friends. I'm kind of neutral, but they talked about good versus evil, and I thought, well, we're not really in a Disney movie, so I don't understand. You may not like him. I get that, but now, 4 years later, the same people I know that have said these things say, I'm really upset with my 401k. I'm upset when I go to the grocery store, and they're all voting for Trump now. So it's, and on the TikTok thing, I do get on TikTok, and most of the people I have followed off and on, their TikToks have been taken down if they have anything about Trump.
Yep, they take him down.
And I just think this is biased, and so that doesn't help his case at all. They just see one side.
Yeah. Does that bother you? That they're taking stuff down because it has that in there? What do you want to say? We have 30 seconds before break. So
I've seen it too.
anything and then talk real fast.
April, my only thing is it doesn't allow us to see the genuine him. So watching your interview today, I think it actually gave me an interpretation that I've never had of him before, and us not seeing him more. It actually kind of hurts people on judging him. I guess if that's what the media wants to do, then they're doing a very good job at it.
Yeah, you bet. All right. Scan your QR code for those questions. We'll be right back. In the Old West, the character of a man was based on his merit. America was built on true grit, hard work, sweat, and competition. Some think this nation has lost its way, that we've lost our spirit. We call bull. The heart of America is alive and well, and now introducing the new home of professional bull riding, Merritt Street Media. PBR will be live and free on the Merritt Street app all year long. PBR Merritt, never miss a ride.
PBR teams coming in July.
Okay, we're back and we're talking about the interview I did last night at Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida with former President Donald Trump. I believe it's the longest sit-down interview he's ever done. Certainly felt like it to me. No, I really appreciated him sitting down and talking with me, and I think we had a very civil discourse. I asked some hard questions and I think got some fulsome answers. So I'm interested in hearing from you guys. So we'll start right here, and guys, go to the next person and be ready for them to go. Say your name and your comment.
I'm Callie, and I enjoyed the interview. I guess in relation to the last question about why people are not as invested, I wonder if it has to do with having less belief in democracy, and with some of the issues that former President Trump was raising with free and fair elections, trusting the media, and the judicial system, all of those are kind of pillars of democracy. And I was left wondering, I guess, how President Trump is going to address the flaws in our democracy.
Yeah. You know, another theory that I've heard is a lot of these Gen Zers have told me that they feel like they'll never be able to get where their parents are. They're not going to be able to earn enough money to own a home. They're not going to be able to get to that level. And so they just kind of checked out. And if that's the case, we have a real problem. That shouldn't be the case. Okay, next, who has the microphone? Just take it to the next person. Both of you, hand it to somebody, be ready. We'll go to you next and then you next. Okay, go.
Hi, I'm Carmen, and you did phenomenal on your interview with Trump.
Thank you.
By the way, I just want to add that I am a Gen Z, and I'm actually engaged in the upcoming election, and I think there are many people in my age group that are as well. It's just they have a different way, including myself, have a different way of going about it in research. I guess the generations prior would go to, I would say, Fox 4, CNN, etc. But like some said, we go to Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, because we feel, as a whole, we feel like the streaming sources are biased. So we go to social media, even though there may be some bias in it as well. It gives us more. It gives more information for us to think more and to have our own outlook on it.
Do you ever check to see if something's true?
Yes.
Have you ever been to a library? It's a big building with books.
Yeah.
Yeah, the library.
You actually have been to a library?
Yes.
Because most people don't. I haven't been to one in years. Because really, once you get it, electronically, it's difficult. Hand your mic to him, and then you go.
Dr. Phil, Mike Satterfield, I am asking, because the country is so polarized and divided, what is your hope from the interview that would help us make conscientious voting and objective voting without personality getting in the way of the platform and the issues you triumphantly pointed out to President Trump?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because, everybody says, get out and vote. And that's not what we need to do. We don't just need to get out and vote. We need to get out and make informed votes.
Yeah.
Not just vote. And this starts from the bottom up. And I mean, I don't care what the job is, even if it's your dog catcher. If you've got people in your neighborhood getting bit by dogs, then you need to kick that dog catcher to the curb and get somebody that's out there doing the job, taking care of the animals.
Right.
And you can't know that if you don't check to find out. If you got a judge letting all the criminals go, then you need to get that judge off the bench and get another one up there that he or she will actually hold them accountable. Find out if people are doing their jobs. These are not legacies, they're privileges. And if they're not doing their job, we need to kick them to the curb and get somebody that will. That's how we need to do it. Yes, sir.
Dr. Phil, Mark. My question is more of, you're America's doctor, and so in watching Trump, he's really hard to follow. Like you said, he's a bull. And so the question is if we're raised on it's not what you say, but how you say something, how are we to listen to him and not get polarized by his words or even triggered or bothered and really kind of get to the heart of what he's saying when he says the same thing 18 different times with one question?
Right. And, I think there's a loop that people get in because they think, this is what's getting the crowd riled up. But, there's a difference when people get into the polling booth and, people say politics are local. No, I don't think so. I think politics are personal. People get in and say, okay, what's this mean to my family? What's this mean to my ability to feed my children, to keep my roof over my family's head? And that's what these politicians need to figure out is people are asking, what's this going to do for me and my family? And that's not being selfish. You got to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. I mean, look at Maslow's hierarchy. First thing is survival. And then you work up to self-actualization where you start taking care of other people. But you can't give away what you don't have. If you aren't healthy, if you don't have yourself taken care of, you can't reach out to somebody else. Yes, sir.
Great interview. Saw a side of him I hadn't seen before. My name is Keith.
I know your name's Keith. We've got a meeting this way.
Yes, sir. I know it. I'm that bad penny. I keep showing up,
Good. So just keep showing up.
I still have a problem with voting for somebody for president that is a convicted felon. And I don't know how to overcome that.
That is what?
That is a convicted felon.
Yeah.
That's trouble for me. I don't think that somebody in that capacity should be allowed to run for president, but the rules are the rules.
Well, that's right. And in fact, that goes to our first question on the poll. Let's look at that. The first question was asked, I would vote for a convicted felon for president of the United States. 91% say yes. And then Keith and a few stragglers say no. So 91% of the people say yes. And I don't know if that's because they think that's kind of a bogus conviction or
It's a bogus
if they think
conviction.
it's a white collar conviction or
Yeah.
something. That's something we need to drill down more on. But 91% of the people say they would.
Because it's bogus.
We'll see.
Most
Okay.
prisoners can't vote.
Right. Well, again, you can't vote from prison. But actually, a convicted felon can't vote in Florida unless they're under New York law, which is interesting, then they can vote in Florida. So, yes, ma'am.
Hi, Nova. So I was here Monday and I stated that I was formerly a Democrat, now Republican, and I'm still undecided. Great interview. I think you did a wonderful job getting him to be a little more personable. I thought it was really funny how he took your stats and was really like, oh, you know, when you showed him the stats on everything, I was like, I wondered if you gave him a copy of that because he was so impressed with his numbers. But I am swayed. My mindset towards him since I saw the court, when y'all talked about the court hearing and all that, yes, I don't feel like that was fair for him. But at the same time, suck it up, Buttercup. That's what a lot of Americans go through as far as the indigent people. I mean, lots of innocent people get found guilty and they're not.
Yeah, he's no
How
guilty.
I feel about when you talked about revenge, I feel like he had his fingers crossed in his pocket and said, you know, so that's concerning for me. I'm a little concerned about what he will do.
It's a process.
We know what the issues are in America. Yeah. What is his platform to take care of the issues? And I think he's getting overshadowed by all the court issues. Yes. Tell us immediately what your plan is. What's your new plan? Don't do what you did the last time.
Yes, sir. Go.
Samson got revenge.
Preston Sklar, yes, sir.
1 minute left.
Okay. Between the uphill battle that Trump's going to be facing with regards to even getting inaugurated and then fixing the country, right? I think you hit a couple questions to him in that interview, which was specifically, how are we going to be the light on top of a shining hill? In order to be a hero, how are we going to represent America in the original values that it had? And what that specifically was, and I'll make this very plainly, and I think you agree with it, is that it was a God-given country, and the values that we have is God-given. So when we say that there's only one man who can do this, that there's only one plan that can happen, Dr. Phil, there's no man that can do this but God.
All right, well, we are live and we're out of time, so we're going to stop right now. I want to thank Rod, Ronnie, and Greg for being here tonight.
Question.
I also want to thank you all for watching. I hope you took something away from tonight's broadcast that maybe...
He's not even going to
We're
address
just
it?
1 hour away from the most important interview